Greetings. I am Dr. Evelyn Bethune, and I have the wonderful opportunity of interviewing Dr. And we're going to just do a brief question. Where do you see us right now, especially in this campaign, as it relates to the issues of our children?
Well, I think we're at a point of great hope but great danger. We're in crisis. There's a cradle to prison pipeline that is threatening 50 years of progress and sacrifice. 1 in 3 black boys, 7 years old today, is going to go to prison, and 1 in 3 of our fathers, from 20 to 29 years old, are in prison. And the black family is really under stress. And child poverty is getting worse. And that has an implication for the prison pipeline, because the hardest place for a child to grow up in this country is at the intersection of race and poverty.
Yes.
And we've got children coming into this earth, in this rich nation, who've already got 4 strikes against them at birth, and they're born without good health care and prenatal care, and then they don't have strong parenting and early childhood experiences from Head Start or child care, and then they go to schools that are not prepared to teach them and don't expect them to learn, and they don't have places to go after school. But we've got to stand up and understand that our entire history and future are at risk. And while I'm so proud that we may get new leadership, that new leadership is not going to be able to get done what we need to get done for children by themselves. We've got to build a movement for our children. That's why I've written this book, to say, hey, folks, wake up. Because we got to wake up and build a movement for our children now.
Give us the title of your book and when it's coming out.
It's coming out September 23rd. It'll be in your local bookstore. Go down there and get it. It's a series of 11 letters, including a letter to Dr. King reporting on our 40 years of progress and lack of progress on the 3 things that he said was going to destroy us: militarism, excessive materialism, poverty, and racism.
Looks like we're well on our way.
We're well on our way. In fact, his last Sunday sermon, which many people don't know, that he called his mama the day he died, was why America may go to hell. And so, but I try to tell him what's been good and what's been bad. He'd be so proud of Barack Obama, and everybody's got to get out and vote. Everybody's got to get out and vote. But he would not be proud that our children are going backwards, and that there are children who were 80% of our black children cannot read at grade level, and 94% can't do math in 12th grade. This is a crisis.
So how do we expect them to compete in a global society when they cannot?
You can't read. You can't read. You're being sentenced to prison and to death.
Exactly. Well, you know, with Pacifica Foundation, Media Source, the Mary McLeod Bethune Educational Legacy Foundation, that is the one point when I'm talking about the issues of my grandmother, how I tell them how what she said in 1954 is as relevant today as it was then. And when I'm reading her speeches, I can replace Negro with African American and give that same speech. We have got to understand the power of that, because I really believe that we don't understand. We don't think we have a voice. When I'm talking and trying to register people, I hear them say, well, my vote doesn't count. What do you say to people, especially those who have children, who don't have a book in their house?
Well, those who say further, my vote doesn't count. You don't count at all if you don't vote. And you no count, because that's the only way in a democracy. You know, democracy is not a spectator sport. Anybody who says I can't take the time to bother vote does not love our children. Does not love our children. They're just abnegating their responsibility as adults to affect their political leaders. And secondly, all these things, what's going on. Your grandmama, she had hope. She had determined who could have the vision to start at college with $5 on a dump.
Actually, $1.50.
She had $1. Well, I've been giving her $5 in her dump.
$1.50.
But look at what came out of Bethune. Because she used the power. You know, she used her power. I met her when I was a little girl, and I saw her power at Benedict College, and I had never seen anybody who talked about how the black of the berry, the sweet of the juice.
Yes,
and the power of this woman, but each of us has such power. And one of the things we're trying to do in CDF Freedom Schools is to tell every child that you are powerful. And we're trying to give them the tools to be powerful. But every black adult speaking up, writing one letter, making one call, paying attention to their children can make an enormous difference.
Is there information available about the Freedom Schools and how to get one, or get something started?
Absolutely. We have our website, childrensdefense.org, www.childrensdefense.org. We've got, if you click on the Freedom Schools, we have a full training curriculum. We have after-school curriculum. We then bring people down to Haley Farm for a week or 10 days, but you really have to come. Everybody has to be trained because the point is high standards and excellent curriculum and people who are trained to deliver it. And we use college students to do it. Yes, we have more information. You'll never want to know about Freedom Schools, but they're working and they're important.
Well, I have found, we started an after-school program at my church because they built an elementary school next door. And my pastor here in Houston, Leonard L. Favorite, was determined. He said if they put a school next door to us, we have space, we need to do something. Because parents were dropping their children off, little babies, very early in the morning in the dark. And so we started opening at 5:30 in the morning to receive those children. And it's run completely by volunteers. The difference that we saw in those children from the time we got them to the end of school last year was amazing.
They just need loving adult attention.
And the volunteers said they got more out of it than the children did. And it was our seniors that anchored it. So, you know, what I'm telling churches, don't think that you don't have the ability to make a difference. We had 20 children that we know we touched their lives and added something to them. But they added so much value to us. And you know, there should not be a church that doesn't have the lights on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The Black Church could transform America as it transformed America in the 1960s.
Yes.
And it wasn't even the majority of the black churches who were all the vocal march with Dr. King. Say they marched with Dr. King. But on the other hand, the power of the black church and their witness for social justice changed the country. They've got to do the same thing again.
But do you think that we've lost our faith and our leadership and the hope to really move that movement forward?
Yes, we have too many, but we've also bought into the values, as Dr. King said, of a house the sun died. And we have become puppets of the culture rather than countercultural critiques. We've forgotten who it is we worship. We've forgotten who it is we worship, and the church has got to regain its moral compass, remember who it worships, and not buy into the excessive materialism. And it's a shame to see all of our church leaders up there reflecting the values of the political context rather than saying, you know, who is it we're supposed to be doing? Are we representing Jesus the Christ, the little poor baby who came in this world? If we really believe God came into history as a poor baby, then we need to really focus on what we're going to do with poor babies today.
That's true. If you could give us one sentence or one paragraph on what you think is the most critical thing that we can do to really make a difference with our children today, what would that thing be?
You got to vote. You got to join with us in building a movement, and you know, we've spent 35 years determining children's needs, but we need to get you to say we're going to use our prayer meetings, we're going to use our voices to send emails. We have an agenda. What we need is people who say, I will support that agenda. And put our children first, put it into action. We'll come, we'll sing, we'll worship, we won't call up our congressman. And so we need to become the political voice for children who don't have a voice. And we can tell you how. Just go to that website.
Well, thank you so much. It's always a joy.
Love to see you. Love to see you.